Hi, thanks for gardening with me. I'm Melissa, and today I'll be starting some seeds. I'm going to be starting some cool weather plants today. They like to grow in the early spring. They don't really like it when it's super hot out, so now's the perfect time to sow the seeds for those. I'm going to be starting Snapdragons, and later in the season when it's time, I will build a trellis and show you how I build mine anyway. But Snapdragons and also Sweet Peas is what I'm sowing today. So I've got all my trays set up, so I'll take you along and show you just how I do that. So these bigger containers are the ones that I'm going to start my sweet peas in. They are bigger than what I would like. There are some containers that are called root trainers, and they would take up a lot less space than these are. But I don't happen to have any of those. And the reason that would be beneficial for starting sweet peas is sweet peas don't really like to have their roots disturbed once they're growing, and their roots do grow quite long if given the option to do so. So a benefit to having a bigger container, which these are much bigger than what I would normally start seeds in. Like my Snapdragons, I'm just going to start in smaller containers like that. But I do have my soil pre-moistened. You always want to pre-moisten your soil, or you don't want to start seeds in dry soil because it'll just kind of dry your seeds out. And even if you go to water them in afterwards, you'll have a harder time. You might lose your seeds down. So I have two different types of sweet peas. This is sweet pea incense. I think that's what it is. Yeah, incense. And I got these from the library. I don't know if you know that, but your library is a good source for seeds. They're free. They're just seeds that people have collected and donated to the library. I soaked them for 24 hours, and I wanted to get them planted up last night, but I ran out of time. So I just put them in these paper towels that are nice and wet to keep the seeds nice and moist. And they're nice and plump and moist, and so I'll go ahead and plant them out today. And I'll just make a hole with my finger. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have enough seeds where I'm going to put 2 per container, and I'm going to hope that they both germinate for me. So I'm going to put them kind of far apart, and far enough apart to where I can just leave them both together in the pot when I go to plant them outside. Wow, and I had just enough for 2 per pot, so that's good. Now sweet peas, I also have another variety here, and these are from Johnny's, and these are called Elegance Formula. Now sweet peas, they like to, I think it's a 1/4 inch, yeah, they like to be sown a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. So I'm going to go ahead and cover them up with a 1/4 inch of soil. That should get me right about to the top of the pot. Now another thing, when you're starting sweet peas, they do like to be domed. Some things don't necessarily need to be domed, like ranunculus, but sweet peas like to be domed because if you don't put a dome over them, they'll dry out a little bit, and then when the seed heads, when the green starts coming up, the little seed will stay attached to it, and that can damage that really fragile first couple leaves. So if you keep it nice and moist, that's not supposed to happen. So I'll go ahead and put my dome over these. Oh, actually, first, before I do that, I want to sprinkle some vermiculite over the top. And that'll just keep the soil level up in the moisture level up in there. So it helps the seeds to not dry out. Not a ton, just a light sprinkling. Okay, that's one tray done. So these are my Snapdragon seeds, and they are teeny. They are super teeny. They like to be planted on the top. They don't want to be covered up at all. So I'm just going to kind of spread them out like this. It's called broad sowing. I could take my time and get just 1 or 2 seeds per cell, and if I purchase these seeds and spend a lot of money on them, I would probably be a little more diligent with that. Since they were free from my own yard, and I have so many of them, I'm just going to broadcast them like this. And just let them come up the way that they come up. Now I am going to have to thin them out later, which I hate to do, but and how you thin them out, you just cut the tops of the flowers off. You don't want to pull them because you don't want to disturb the roots of the healthy ones growing next to them. So also another reason why I'm kind of broadcasting them like this is I don't really remember when I did harvest the seeds, if I put them right into these envelopes right away. I think I did, but hopefully they'll all be viable and I'll get just thousands of Snapdragons. So what I'm going to do next is I am going to go ahead and sprinkle vermiculite over them. Even though they don't like to be covered up with soil, this vermiculite is still going to let the air through, or still going to let the sunlight through, so they'll still be able to germinate. Not doing it super heavy, just heavy enough to kind of help keep the moisture in the soil. I am going to go ahead and put a dome over them. And that's it. You don't bury your seeds, your Snapdragon seeds. Oh, I am going to go ahead and water them in though. And that's it. Okay, here they all are. Got everything sewn and the domes on everything. These are the 2 trays of Snapdragons, and they are on a heat mat. And the heat mat is supposed to keep the temperature of 15 to 20 degrees above the ambient temperature. So that I would hope that there's a height. I'll have to read and make sure that there's a ceiling that it goes to, because it's like 80 degrees in here right now. 81. It's so hot. I've got windows open. Got that window open, that window open. And I also have, try not to spin you around too fast, my door open. So, and it's still that hot. And I had the exhaust fan going. I turned that off so that you could hear. So I'm running out of space here for the seedlings. Over here, I also have the sweet peas in there, and then sweet peas in there. I plan on putting some shelving up here, and I'll be able to start a lot more seeds after I do that. So that's it so far for today. Next few days, I'll be putting more seeds out. Thank you so much for gardening with me. God bless and have a great week.